Something has changed. You can feel it in bars, in gyms, even in coffee shops. Places that used to buzz with small talk, eye contact, and chance encounters are quieter now. Women dress up, step out, give the green light, and still go home alone. They notice the silence. They post about it, laugh about it, sometimes cry about it. But the truth is simple. Men are no longer approaching the way they used to. And here's the twist. This didn't happen overnight. It's not about shyness, it's not even about rejection. It's about something much deeper. Men realizing that the pursuit, the chase, the constant proving of themselves just doesn't feel worth it anymore. They've chosen something different. They've chosen peace. This video is about that shift, the peace over pursuit era. We are going to break down why men are stepping back, how it's reshaping the culture of dating, and why the silence you feel isn't weakness, it's strategy. Let's dive in. The first reason why men are not approaching anymore is that the risk of being misunderstood is greater than the hope of being appreciated. Today, men aren't avoiding women because they have suddenly lost interest. They are avoiding women because the risk of being misunderstood has become greater than the reward of being appreciated. Picture this. A man sees a woman across a coffee shop. She looks up, smiles. Years ago, that was an open door. He would walk over, introduce himself, maybe crack a joke about the long line or the bent cafe, and 9 times out of 10, she would at least smile back. Now, he hesitates. Because in the back of his mind, he's not just thinking, will she like me? He's thinking, will she think I'm creepy? Will she tell her friends I'm bothering her? Will this end up as a screenshot on Twitter? That single moment of doubt kills the spark. What used to be the natural human interaction now feels like a potential crime scene. The man is not afraid of rejection. He is afraid of being mischaracterized. We see it everywhere. On TikTok, videos go viral with captions like, "This guy wouldn't leave me alone at the gym, even if the man just looked in a direction twice." On Twitter, threads circulate labeling men thirsty or creepy for saying something as harmless as, "You look nice today." Even YouTube comment sections are filled with debates about the ick, where perfectly normal attempts at connection get turned into public ridicule. So men do the math. One compliment could equal embarrassment. One approach could equal a viral video. One conversation could equal a reputation they can't shake. And when the cost of being misunderstood feels higher than the chance of being accepted, men simply don't play the game. This is not about men being weak. It's about men choosing peace over performance. The silence you notice at the gym, the quiet in the coffee shop, the lack of hello at the gas station is not because men don't see you. It's because they don't want to risk losing their dignity over a simple smile. They would rather swallow the loneliness than risk being branded in the worst possible way. Because once a man is labeled creep, harasser, desperate, there's no erasing it. This is the cultural shift. Approaching used to be a gesture of interest. Now it feels like a gamble with your reputation. And this is just the beginning. Because when men start walking away from the approach itself, the effects ripple into other parts of society. The gym isn't just quiet. The clubs aren't just empty. The entire energy of pursuit is changing. And that brings us to the second layer of this shift. Connection zones have become risk zones. What used to be the natural environment for men and women to meet, gyms, clubs, even workplaces, are no longer safe spaces for connection. They've become risk zones where one wrong move can cost a man his reputation, his peace, or even his career. Think about the gym. Not too long ago, the gym was a place where casual interaction happened without overthinking. You would see someone on a treadmill, make eye contact, maybe strike up a light conversation about sets, reps, or the broken AC. Today, it's different. A man adjusts his position while waiting for a bench, and if his eyes land in the wrong direction for too long, he risks being labeled a predator. Cameras are rolling everywhere. TikToks are uploaded within minutes. What might have once been harmless interaction is now public evidence of creepy behavior. Then look at the club. In the past, it was the hunting ground for romance and nightlife. Men approached, women danced, sparks flew. It was messy but alive. Now step into a club and what do you see? Men lined up against the wall, glued to their phones. Women posting Insta stories with captions like, "Nobody approaches anymore." But ask the men and they will tell you it's not worth it. Because one wrong word, one rejection too loud, one "don't touch me" shouted over the music, and suddenly you are the villain of the night. The energy that used to create attraction now feels like a setup. Even in the workplace where so many long-term relationships used to begin, the rules have changed. A compliment at the office that once sounded like, "You look sharp today," now feels like crossing a professional boundary. Men know HR is listening. They know careers can be destroyed over a misunderstood comment. So they choose silence. They keep it strictly professional. And while that protects the workplace, it also strips away another natural place where people once met and connected. These spaces, gyms, clubs, workplaces, were once connection zones where energy flowed and attraction happened organically. But men no longer see them as opportunities, they see them as minefields. Every approach feels like a gamble. Will I come across as genuine or as a threat? The results: stillness, distance, a new social silence where everyone feels the tension but no one makes the first move. Women feel invisible, men feel unwelcome. And instead of creating new connections, these once vibrant spaces are becoming echo chambers of unspoken frustrations. But it doesn't stop there, because when the social spaces that once thrived on connection start turning cold, something bigger happens. Women begin to feel an attention drought. The very validation that used to feel overwhelming suddenly feels like it's vanished. And that takes us straight into the third layer of this cultural shift: the attention drought, when the silence gets loud. For years, women felt suffocated by too much attention. But now, as men step back, women are waking up to a new reality: an attention drought. And that silence is louder than they expected. Scroll through TikTok and you see the shifts play out in real time. Women posting videos like, "I got dressed up, smiled at three guys in the bar, and went home alone." Or, "Remember when men used to flirt at the grocery store? Now they don't even look up." Not too long ago, those same women might have posted the opposite: "Why do men always bother me at a gas station?" Or, "Can we please stop with the creepy stares at the gym?" Back then, the complaint was too much attention. Now the complaint is silence. This silence isn't just an absence of words, it's an absence of something deeper: validation. For many women, even if they weren't interested in every man who approached, the act of being noticed carried weight. That passing compliment, that polite hello, that small spark of pursuit, it wasn't always about romance, it was about being seen. Picture this: a woman walks into a cafe on a Saturday morning, hair down, outfit chosen carefully. She sits, orders her latte, looks around. In the past, at least one man might have smiled or struck up small talk about the weather. Today, she lives with the same latte and a quiet ache. Not because she wanted a date, but because she wanted acknowledgement. That tiny boost of, "Yes, you are attractive. Yes, you still have it." And when it's gone, the absence feels heavy. This is the irony: what was once overwhelming is now missed, and the silence cuts differently. It's not just men who are protecting their peace, it's women who are feeling the cost of that choice. Because when the male pursuit dries up, it doesn't just change the dating scene, it changes the atmosphere of everyday life. The little dopamine hits of being noticed fade, the spark of playful attention disappears, and suddenly, women are realizing that while unwanted attention could feel annoying, total absence feels like invisibility. This is what makes the piece of a pursuit shift so powerful. It's not just about men choosing silence, it's about women feeling that silence and questioning how the rules of engagement got rewritten without them realizing it. But the drought isn't just emotional, it has consequences. Because when men stop approaching, stop pursuing, stop risking, they don't just protect themselves, they begin to build elsewhere. They invest their energy in work, fitness, money, and self growth. And that brings us to the fourth layer of this shift: men redirecting their energy from women to themselves. From pursuit to self investment, men are building themselves instead. When men step away from pursuit, they don't just sit still, they redirect that energy inward. What once went into chasing women now fuels fitness, careers, money, and personal growth. Men are trading the uncertainty of pursuit for the certainty of progress. Scroll through Instagram or TikTok and you see it: men documenting their gym transformations, posting their business wins, or talking about grinding in silence. It's not just a hashtag, it's a movement. Take the gym, for example, where once it was partly a stage for male female interactions, catching eye between sets, small talk about protein shakes. It's now become a fortress of self improvement. Men invest hours sculpting their bodies, not to impress strangers across the room, but to gain mastery over themselves. They would rather build muscles than risk being filmed, mocked, or misunderstood. Or look at money. In the past, many men worked hard for the implicit belief that success would bring romance, that if they leveled up, women would notice. Today, that belief is shifting. The grind is no longer about attraction, it's about independence. Men are pouring their resources into side hustles, crypto, stocks, tech startups, anything that gives them autonomy. Even socially, men are creating new outlets. They find community in online gaming, Discord groups, or entrepreneurial circles, places where they can connect without fear of misinterpretation, places where the ROI, return on investment, is clearer, safer, and in their control. One young man put it this way in a podcast clip that went viral. Why would I risk rejection 10 times a week when I can hit the gym, grow my business, and actually see results? That line hits because it summarizes the generation's logic. Stop chasing women who may ridicule you. Start chasing outcomes that won't. This is the heart of the peace over pursuit shift. Men realize that energy is limited, and if pursuing women feels like rolling dice in a rigged game, they would rather place their bets where they can win. The cultural effect is massive. Women feel the absence of pursuit. Men feel the reward of inward focus. And the dynamic between the two is widening into a quiet standoff. Women waiting for attention, men building without giving it. And here is the catch. This isn't men giving up on women. It's men reprioritizing, choosing self-mastery over the unpredictability of romance. And in that choice, they are rewriting the rules of modern dating in real time. But this redirection doesn't just stop with self-investment. There is one more layer, and it's the most revealing. Men aren't just avoiding pursuit because they are tired. They are avoiding it because for the first time they've realized something powerful. Peace feels better than performance. And that's where this entire shift comes full cycle. Peace greater than pursuit, when sanity outweighs the chase. At the core of this cultural shift is a quiet but profound realization. For many men today, peace is more valuable than pursuit. Connection is still desired, yes, but not at the cost of constant pressure, public ridicule, or emotional exhaustion. Imagine a man leaving work after a stressful day. 10 years ago, he might have stopped by a bar, struck up a conversation with someone, tested his luck. Today, he goes straight home, not because he doesn't crave connection, but because he knows what that bar offers. Noise, mixed signals, rejections wrapped in mockery, maybe even an embarrassing story told later at his expense. Instead, he opens a book, cooks his own dinner, watches a show in peace. And in that moment, he feels something he rarely felt in pursuit: relief. Peace has become the new prize. On social media, you see this mantra everywhere: protect your peace, choose peace over drama, peace over anything. These aren't just empty words. They've become guiding principles for a generation of men who grew tired of being told that manhood equals chasing endlessly, performing endlessly, proving endlessly. Where once success meant securing the number, getting the date, making her smile, now success is measured differently. Did I keep my dignity? Did I avoid unnecessary drama? Did I protect my mental health? That's the scoreboard now. And it's why so many women are noticing the silence. Because for the first time in decades, men are openly saying, I would rather be alone in peace than together in chaos. This isn't weakness. This isn't apathy. It's a cultural evolution. Men are no longer willing to gamble their well-being for fleeting validation. They've redefined victory. It's not about collecting numbers in a club or impressing strangers on the street. It's about finding stability inside themselves, even if that means walking away from the very pursuit that used to define masculinity. And this is where the real tension lies. Women feel invisible, wondering why pursuit has disappeared. Men feel liberated, discovering the weight of peace. Two realities colliding quietly. So here's where we learn. Men haven't stopped wanting love. They haven't stopped craving connection, intimacy, or romance. What they've stopped doing is paying for it with their sanity. The gyms, the bars, the workplaces, they've all shifted from connection zones to risk zones. Women are noticing the attention drought, and men, instead of pushing harder, are pulling inward, building, healing, investing in themselves. Not because they've given up on women, but because they've woken up to something bigger. Peace is priceless. And once you've tasted peace, pursuit feels different, risk feels heavier, silence feels safer. This is the era we are living in now, the peace over pursuit shift. If you felt this change, whether you were a woman wondering where the attention went, or a man who is choosing peace over performance, drop your thoughts in the comments, because this isn't just a dating debate. This is a cultural conversation about what we value, what we risk, and what we choose when peace becomes the ultimate prize.